Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. This topic is on the laws of universe, your values. These values are very, very powerful, and that's why they make us powerful. So that's the reason I took this title, The Values Make Us Valuable. So how the value makes us valuable? So if the laws are existing in the universe, they are existing constantly on us, whether we know it or we don't know it, they still exert on us. It's like we are sitting here on this earth, the law of gravitation is working on us, but we don't know, but it still exists. So if we understand the laws, then we can get benefit out of it. So the whole purpose of our is to how to understand these laws at their deepest level. For example, the sun was there for millions and billions of years and throwing light and heat. That's all we knew, that we are getting the light and we are getting the heat from the sun. Once we start understanding more about the sun, we realize we can get a lot of benefit out of it. And that's what we did. We got X-rays, microwaves, ultraviolet, infrared, solar system, fusion energy. So all those, and we're gonna keep getting it. The more we understand, the more we're gonna get benefit out of it. Once we get benefit out of these laws, then we become powerful because these laws are very powerful. So that's the whole purpose of going over few of these laws, what we know. And and that's the reason the first law I'm going to start with is law of thinking. Thinking, as we know, is the highest quality of human. And that is very, very powerful. If we understand what is thinking and what is thought, then we can use it for our benefit. But if we don't know, we can just move on without getting any benefit out of it. So in the Quran says, Wala tabiyani sabilil lazina la ya'lamun, that do not follow the way of those who don't have the knowledge. So basically, knowledge makes you understand and think more. So I was yesterday I was writing and I wrote a little sentence. I said, strength of a human is awareness of his weakness. Strength of a human is awareness of his weakness, and weakness of human is ignorance of his awareness. So basically, if we are ignorant, and that is the main problem, to average person, life is like enigma, is a mystery. Enigma is another word for ignorance. So basically, if they understand the life, then there is no mystery. Then they understand it and they can get benefit out of it. And that's the purpose of understanding these laws. Quran also says, Avalam yatafakkaru fi anfusihim. Don't they ponder within themselves? So once we understand these things, we start thinking. Obviously, Quran says, Sanurihim ayatina fil afaki wa fi anfusihim hatta yatabayyana lahum annahu al-haq. So keep thinking, keep pondering in this universe and in yourself until you get to the reality. Once you understand, once you change yourself and change your environment, you start meeting people, interesting people, And people are interesting because they are interested. But majority, because Iqbal says, तरबियत आम तो है, तरबियत आम तो है, जोहर काबिल ही नहीं, जिससे तामीर हो आदम की, ये वो गिल ही नहीं। कोई काबिल हो तो हम शान कई देते हैं, ढूंढने वालों को दुनिया भी नहीं देते हैं। So it's one who is struggling, one who is looking for and thinking constantly. Those are the people who will get to the point in life. Now, the thought is very, very powerful source, and it's a force, even though it is invisible to our sight, but it is actually force of substance, as real as electricity, heat, light, even water, even stone. We don't think that, but thought is very, very powerful force, because with our thought, we can create stone, we can create water, we can create anything you want with the thought. So that's why thought is the key we should control. It's very difficult to have a control on thoughts. We are surrounded by thoughts. Thoughts are electromagnetic waves. They're all over in the universe. They're passing around me right now. So thoughts are like it's like electricity going through us. It's like a light. It's like a musical waves, sound waves. So they're all around us. As we know, the thought travels like the speed of light, 186,000 miles per second. And our thought is a speed of light, but our voice is like a kind of 930,000 less than the speed of light. So imagine how thought, you can go from one pole to another pole multiple times within a second. So that's the reason thought penetrates in space-time. So thought has no space-time. So it can go from one pole to another pole. It can go to the galaxies. So this is the only species who can tap in the metaphysical world. So we are the only one who can do that, not other animals or plants. So if you, nowadays they have done experiments, if you stand in front of the infrared camera, you could literally see the vibrations, the sounds coming out of you. If you somehow check it as a sound, it's like a symphonic opera going on. So it's literally, we release those vibrations which goes into the universe. And our body is magnificent. Our body is an amazing creature in this universe where we live in. We live in it. And we, by thinking, by commanding, we operate our body. So as we know, the mind over matter. So the mind is the one who operates the body. These thoughts waves are cosmic. They are in the cosmic. We whenever we call, you can say conscious or thought, it comes to you. And mind is a very powerful force in the universe, and thinking is the most powerful energy. So we have to understand these energies, these forces, these laws, these values. Otherwise, we don't get benefit from it. Imagine, even if we think in secret, this is very crazy. Even in you think in secrets, it appears in the environment as your mirror. Means even if you're thinking consciously, subconsciously, subjectively, objectively, that has an effect on the outer world, and you're creating the same kind of world if you're thinking that way. Mind, thought, conscious are the master powers, and that makes the and shape the outer world. Outer world does not exist. It exists first in our mind, and that's how we create the outer world. So the way we think, that's going to be the outer world. Man is mind, you can say. But it's very interesting. This is a very amazing statement. Man is mind, but man has body too. Why we say man is mind? Because God does not have body. So the how God operates, that's how we exactly operate. So we operate through our mind. So basically, God operates from higher potentials to lower potentials. And this was very interesting to me because it will come to the other laws, but I'm going to explain a little bit here. When I say God operates from higher potentials to lower potentials, and we also operates from higher potential to lower potentials, means from metaphysics to physics, means from thought to thing. So any thought you make it a reality in a solid form. God thought, kun fayakun, and the whole universe, physical universe, came into existence. So the higher means metaphysics to physics. The whole universe is physics, and he's metaphysics. So you see, from higher potentials to lower potential. That I was thinking the other day. I knew this, but I did not think this way before. I myself was thinking till yesterday that we operate from lower potential to higher potentials. And this is what they taught us. Even Abraham Maslow's theory of hierarchy of needs, if you look at it, he says, try to achieve the basic needs. Try to achieve your basic needs, your social needs, your esteem needs, and then you go towards the deity needs, towards the higher, towards self-actualization, and towards the God. But if we do that, by the time we finish achieving the basic needs, our legs are in the grave. So we spend all our life just getting to the basic needs, forget about higher needs. So now when I ponder on it, I realize, no, we don't work this way. We work opposite. We work from higher to lower, from metaphysics to physics. We think, and thinking creates whatever you want. So basically, that's why you don't judge your richness by your bank balance. You have to be rich here. It's just amazing how human can work. When once we understand it, we can change it in that way. So we can work from higher potentials to lower potential. So that was very interesting for me. So therefore, the conscious, we have to be very conscious to choose our thoughts, to control our thoughts. It's very difficult to control human thought because they keep coming. They keep coming. It's like if your thoughts are coming, it's like a smell comes in a room. Can you control smell? Not really. You can't. But you can, in a way. In a way, what you can do is you can close the door. So then you get away with this smell. But now, same way, when you thought comes from emotions. So the door of our thought is the emotions. So if you having a wrong thoughts or depression thought, or you can always right away change the emotion. Go out, start looking at the flowers. So the moment you change the emotion, your thought will start changing accordingly. So this is how we can do. We have to control our thought by our mind. So that's very important. Same way, if we have to change our results, we have to change our actions. And if we have to change our actions, we have to change our thoughts. So it all starts from thought. The whole universe came into existence from thought. And this is how we have to understand from now on. Nothing can exist outside in the physical world until unless it comes into your mind. So basically, whatever human can imagine, human can create it. So it requires effort. Obviously, it doesn't happen, you just think and it happens. It can happen if there is outer environment is very cooperative. But because outer environment is not cooperative, that's why we have to struggle to do that. So if you want to change your results, you change your actions. If you want to change your actions, you change your thought. And how can you change your actions? You change your actions by a clear, a unified, repeated thought with elevated emotions. I have discussed that multiple times, how this happens. Once you consciously, when I say consciously, it means conscious mind being the pen of yours. When you consciously write your thought in your subconscious mind, subconscious being your notebook. So if you consciously write whatever you want to write on your subconscious, because subconscious is connected to the universe, it will draw back the result of your conscious thought. So it's very, very interesting how things works, because even though Iqbal said, "Tu apni sarnavisht apne kalam se likh, apni sarnavisht अब अपने कलम से लिख, खाली रखी है खामाए हक ने तेरी जबीं." Means कि God, the pen of the God, he did not utilize in your case. He wrote everything else in the plants and animals, but in human domain, he did not use his pen. He said, "You use your pen," because we have the same pen he has. We can think, we have the thought, we have the conscious. So if we write consciously in our subconscious, we can do whatever we want to do. And how can you write it? The writing, because subconscious is going to be counter you, because it's your comfort zone, it's your autopilot. So you have to really repeatedly force him and make a habit. Whatever new things you want to do, make a habit repeatedly. Once it becomes a habit, it goes into subconscious. It gets written in there, because habits, conscious mind is basically habitual mind. So we have to make a habit of whatever we want to do new. We have to make a habit and then give it to the subconscious. Then subconscious operate, and then he brings a lot of things in front of you according to what you want. A lot of people, probably those kind of literature in front of you, whatever you want to do. So this is how it works. So the progress of human, how human grows, is how human develop is largely depend on how you control your thought. If you become a master of controlling your thought, ruling your mind, you're a powerful person, very powerful person. This is the key to that. So, and we develop these attitude. How we do that? Because the attitude and then the habits. So what is attitude? Is how you think, how you feel, and how you act. If I'm feeling every day the same, thinking the same, and acting the same, then I'm in the past. If I'm thinking the same, feeling the same, and acting the same every day, I am in the past. So this is, we have to change that. Human, like who said it? I think Whitehead. The human definition, he said, changelessness in change. So the change part is, if we don't change ourselves, then there is a problem. Then if your 2 days are alike, you are waiting for hellishly life something. So the only thing, we are trying our best, to do this, to change this, to change that. The only thing you can change in the universe, only thing, is yourself. Because every human has a choice. We can't go against their choice. You can change others, but the most important person you can change in this universe is you, nobody else, not even your kids or your family or your friends. It's you. So first we have to change, because we have the ability, we have the control on ourself. Nobody, I can't, I don't have a control on anybody else. So the bottom line is, the whole law of thinking is, as Quran says, Kul innama aizukum biwahidatin antakumu lillahi masna wa farada summa tatafakkaru. Okay, what Quran is saying, that I advise you only one thing, that you stand for Allah in pairs or and as individuals, then reflect. So being alone and reflecting on yourself, that is, he demands that we all should reflect and think. Now, so I hope you got some understanding of how important is thinking of human, and how thought works. And thought, basically thought becomes reality. All we're going to do is start from thought, from higher potentials to lower potentials. Now there's another law, a value, which is the law of supply. Supply is, if you look at the universe, if you look at the Quranic verse, I believe it's 23 over 35. It says, Allahu nuru samawati wal arth, that the God is the light to the heavens and to the earth. And very interestingly, I don't have those words in front of me, but the way he explains where a light comes from, he mentioned there is a niche, and inside the niche there is a lamp, and there's on top of the lamp there is glass, and then it's like a star, and then that light goes out, and he is directing the light. And that example he gave us, I mean, it's just mind-boggling if you think about it. And then that light does not need, you don't have to you need a fire to light it up. It lights itself. And the other thing I notice in that um, when he's directing to the nur, and that we have too. So that means we also can become nur at a lower level. Means we are body. The more we become thoughts, the more we become thought, the more we become metaphysics. The more we concentrate on this world, the worldly thing, the more we become matter. So the if we become more thought, then that nur is getting directions, but then also it's becoming more nur than khaki. So that is very, very interesting. There is a verse in the Quran. It says, "Wa ashrakatul ardu binuri rabbiha." I think what Quran is trying to say that this earth will be illuminating at one point when every human start thinking and start creating. So this is what he wants us to do. That's the reason it doesn't matter how smart we are, but it does matter how effective we are. If we become less matter, more thought, then we are in a better direction. We should not aim for satisfaction, we should aim for happiness. As Iqbal says, "Tu rah navarde shauk hai, manzil na kar kabul. Laila bhi ho hum nashi, mehmal na kar kabul." So the way God explained in that Allahu Nuru Samawati wal Ars, that He's releasing energy. Same way we release energy. So every human releases energy. As I said, if you put yourself in front of infrared camera, you will see that. Today they have done it. And the desire is the triggering factor for that energy. Because the moment you have a burning desire, your passion, that makes you more, less matter, more new. So that's because everything comes in this universe from that infinite source of energy. For that reason, if it's infinite, then you can never take more than your share. You understand? If we have a pizza and have 8 pieces and we are 4 people, we have 2 pieces per person. But if you have infinite energy, you can take as much as you want. That's not your share. There's no concept of share in that. That is interesting. I mean, you can take whatever you want. It depends on you how much you want. You can go to a river, take one glass of water, or you can bring as many buckets as you want. It's there. The light is there. The sun is there. How much you want, it's up to you. We are living in an ocean of motion. It's just mind-boggling how things are around us and we are not aware of it. Because nothing is created nor destroyed. It's just transforming from one thing to another thing. Constantly it's being evolving, going, moving. We have a godlike image. We are a kind of smaller gods because a self has the same attributes. It can achieve those attributes in a human limited level. So we can become, the more we adopt those attributes of God, the more we become God-like. So we are. So God is basically his task is creation and providing nourishment to the whole universe. So if that's his job, and if we are God-like, so our purpose is to create and to provide nourishment to others. Obviously, we can't do what he can do, but it's still that's the case. So we have to attract as much energy from that infinite source. There is a supply of unlimited. So it's up to us how much we're gonna want to take it. So this is how I think when we all start thinking. Once we start thinking, we're gonna start creating, and we're gonna creating a lot of sustenance for others. And this is where God says, "Washrakatul arju binuri rabbiha." That time will come when every human is utilizing their higher potentials and creating and providing nourishment. and that is the goal basically. So that becomes another unit which is called humanity. Right now we are humans, but once we collectively do that, it becomes one next unit. So that is the supply line is there. How much we want it is up to us. So that is the law of supply. It's infinite, unlimited. Then the law of receiving. This is a very interesting law. Actually, it's a paradoxical law. The law of receiving, the basic principle or basic law in receiving is actually giving. So that's why it's paradoxical law. As Quran says multiple times all over the Quran. I mean, I don't have to go over, but he says, "Manzallazi yuqrizullah qarzan hasanan fayuzaifahu lahu asafan kasiran." That who is the one who will lend God, a good loan, karazan hasanan, so that Allah multiplies it for him many folds. So basically, when we give, law says law of receiving, but in reality, it is paradoxical. Whatever you give, you will receive. If you want respect, you have to give respect. If you want money, you have to give money. If anything you want, you have to give. So giving is the key in this law. And as we read in the Quran, when you give, you develop yourself. When you receive, you develop your body. So that is kind of a basic law. So people who are in receiving mode, they are paralyzed, they are limited. They think they're gonna get things and they're gonna have better life. No, that's not true. It is the opposite, because the law does not work that way. That way it's very, very restricted, very, very limited. But the other way, what he's saying is, you give me a loan and I will multiply it many folds. So that means when you do that, you will, okay, and also you do not worry about where that gonna come from. That's not the problem. It doesn't come from the where you give. It comes from other sources. So I do have some experiences on that. So basically, your mind has to be clear, and what you want to receive in life, you have to give. So the attitude of getting, as I said, is a law of life in a congested state, in a repressed action. That's not a good actions. We don't know yet because we were taught that way. This is a material world. You have to achieve material things to then get to the non-material thing. That's why when we are 60, 80 years old and we start looking for God, but that's not how it works. So we have to work other way around. As long as this getting is dominated our minds, we're not gonna excel. Should willingly give and graciously receive. Believe me, that happens. It is the giving is the fundamental law in nature. If you look at anything in the universe, in actually any life, it's all giving. You just look at the plants. Receiving, the basic principle laws behind law of receiving is law of giving. So, and if we continue to believe that receiving is the law, then we are in a limited level. I remember Iqbal mentioned at one point in his one of the poem, there was a tree who was arguing again and again with the bird. with the eagle, and that you have the ability to fly all over the place, and I can't move, so he, once he finished talking, all blaming God, he didn't give me these wings and stuff. So at the end, the eagle said, it was very interesting to me. It was one sentence, but it was powerful. He said, "Jahan mein lazzate parwaz haq nahi uska, jahan mein lazzate parwaz haq nahi uska, वजूद जिसका नहीं जज्बे खाक से आजाद." So if we are stuck with this word, he told him, your roots are so deep in this earth. How the hell are you going to come up and fly? So you blaming others, but look at yourself. You have digged down yourself so deeply. So we have to understand, if we want to be light, if we want to be flying, there's another dimension. We have to understand that. So there's no other way. So that's why I stress on that we should not think negative. If we think negative, we're gonna receive the negative energy. Even Quran says the shar comes to you like a fire. So, but the good deeds, you have to work hard, So the when we think negative, because everybody is throwing negative outside, negative energy. So negative power, negative magnetic is more outside. That's why whenever we think negative, it just attracts right away. But positive is very scarce. So that's why when we think positive, we have to literally look for those people who are thinking positive. So this is how it's very difficult to work in that direction. It's difficult moving in a right direction. So wrong direction, everybody can go. So that's why. So we are here to do the same work, as I said, God's work, which is creation and giving. And we have to obviously adopt the same way. Why we can do that? Because God has given us those faculties which we can create and provide nourishment to others. How we do it? With repetition of knowledge. Our perception change, right? Every time we repeat one thing or we embody something, we constantly thinking on same thing, that your perception, even if you read a book and keep reading that book over and over, your perception will change. So once your perception changes, your life changes accordingly. As Iqbal said, "Janchu digar shud, jahan digar shuat." So if you're consciously doing it, your inner changes, your outer automatically changes. If you want love, learn to give love. If you want attention, learn to give attention. If you want material affluence, help others to become more affluent in wealth. So the more you give, the more you will receive. And as I said, don't worry about where it is going to come from. And it's just the giving part is more important. So now I believe in the Quran, it says, Allazina yunfikuna fis-sarai wa-zarai wallahu yuhibbul muhsinin. Means what he's saying is, if you are giving, open your wealth, even in difficult times or in easy time. If you're doing it, then those people, God love them. So basically, it's the yunfikun, is an infaq. You're leave opening everything. Those who spend in ease and in hardship. Allah loves good doers. So that is the law of receiving. Is a paradoxical, is basically giving. Now I'm going to talk about the next law of forgiveness. Law of forgiveness, and obviously we all know, this is the most beautiful, most liberating law, that God says, "Wa in tafu wa وَتَغْفِرُوا فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. And he said, if you pardon, and if you overlook, and if you forgive, then indeed Allah is oft forgiving and most merciful. What is in this one? Look at he uses three words: tafu, tasfahu, and taghfiru. Tafu is like a forgiveness, maafi de dena. But it's a possibility you are forgiving after getting the compensation in tafu. But in the tasfahu, you don't get compensation. You darguzar kar dete hain. You just overlook it, forget it. I don't need anything. Go ahead. The last one is taghfiru. And taghfiru is ghafur, just like it's the same ghafur. It's like it has from the beginning is you just forgiving, no compensation, nothing, and even has an element of protection also. So that's he says one who does that, God is very happy with those people. So even now we know that in the scientific world, that human body is basically functions and governed and ruled through our thought, through our mental capacity, through our command. Even if it's conscious, unconscious, even if it's subjective or objective, uh, once you understand that, and we can manipulate our body the way we want. There's no way. I mean, if you clearly understand that, so these are all actually subject to law. So we have to understand the law, how it works. But what happens is, whenever we misuse the law or violates the law, that mistake is called sin in religious terminology. When you are following the law, you are heading in a good direction. You're getting plenty of it. But if you violate the law, you're making a mistake. You're disobeying the law. You're going against it. So what happened? That is sin. And that creates a problem in your life. Your life is not being lived as you want because you are going against the value, against the law. So this is why we have to understand. We try not to go against the laws or values, because sin is basically when we go against the law, we are disintegrating our self. This is the price we have to pay. So as Quran says, وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. So if God has made us in a very well proportion, He instilled all the capacities in us. But now it's up to us if we can disintegrate ourselves or we can integrate ourselves. So one who does that, he gets developed. And one who go against it, he said he goes under the earth, the Saha. So this is basically our mistakes are misunderstanding, disobeying the law. It doesn't matter if it's mechanical law or it's a spiritual law. Anytime you disobey it, and you are gonna get a damage to yourself. And the only method to correct this, to please the law, is to correct and go back on the law. In the Quran, it says there's only one law for that. If you have done some kind of sin, that innal hasanat yuzhibna sayyat, means Indeed, the good deeds overcome the bad deeds, evil deeds. So you cannot remove them from your subconscious, but what you can do is the more hasanat you start doing, so the hasanat parada will be heavier than the sayyat. So that's how you can balance yourself. There's no other way. That's it. If anytime we go against the law, obviously we are living life the way we don't want it. But if we follow the law, we are going forward with it, we are happy. Thinking wrong thoughts about anyone, it does not help you or anyone. It's only destroy yourself. That's the basic principle. Whenever you think negative, whenever you think wrong against somebody, it's not gonna damage anybody, it's going to damage yourself. So the price of sin or price of mistake is the destruction of yourself, your health, your wealth, your love. So but if you forgive, your all health, wealth, love will grow. So this is how we have to think. If you from I think we should start thinking in that direction, that we should not have any guilt feeling about anyone. Try to form a habit of not holding on to anything that is causing you to feel bad. Anything anything which is in your mind that you're feeling bad, that means it's not good. You're going against some law. Anything which is bad or you feeling different about, that means you're not on the right track. So start to love and respect yourself, then you respect and give love to others. Same I said as the attitude. We have to develop those attitude, how we think, how we feel, how we act. That attitude we have to create and develop in our daily life. If we have a healthy attitude, we can live healthy, and if we are healthy, then we can be wealthy by our healthy attitude. So that's how it is. So now I think I have mentioned that even science now getting into that direction, that even thought alone can create a physical diseases in human, only from thought. So basically what happened is all those sinful thoughts, all those guilty thoughts, they get into our subconscious and they keep piling. Those repressed, chronically repressed guilty thought will lead to the cancers, the tumors, the diseases. So now we have to start understanding, because I believe Quran mentioned all these diseases as basically is the problem of the sudur. It's your inner psychological issue which causing your physical diseases. So I think now we are heading in that direction, that the more we we do fajuraha, we disintegrate ourselves, the more diseases we get. So we can either integrate ourselves or disintegrate ourselves. It's all up to you. We can go forward, we can go backward, we can go into heaven, we can go into hell. It's all up to you. We have the ability, we have the capacities. It's all up to us how we're going to do. So now uh, anytime you have those guilty thoughts which are debilitating us, which are damaging us, leading to physical diseases, what we have to do, and actually those thoughts, when it stays longer, it leads into fear and depression. That's why Quran says, "Wala khawfun alayhim wala hum yahzanun." If you don't have a fear and depression, you are in a heavenly life. So the first step to heaven is "Wala khawfun alayhim wala hum yahzanun." So all these guilty life, we have to feelings in ourselves, we have to remove from ourselves. We have to get rid of them. It just, and how we do it? By forgiveness. We cannot keep those feelings, because the more guilty feelings we keep, those feelings actually hold us back, don't let us go forward. So we do not move forward. They are the more biggest hurdle in our life. We constantly thinking, oh shit, why did I do this? So forgiveness is a phenomenal concept. It means forgive yourself and forgive others. You can't change what you have done. So if you know that you can't change what you have done, then just forgive and forget. Move on. It happened, but don't do it again. If you do it again, that means you're not learning the lesson. So that is the key. Forgive and forget. Don't keep a baggage of your past with you. Do not take the baggage. Get it away. Forget it. I know those thoughts comes again here and there, but try not to think that way and just say it happened. Probably in a young age, that was not me. That was somebody made me that way. That was not my act. But now, because now you're conscious and now you're doing your life you're the way you want it, so now you can start from there on. Forget about the past. No more baggage. Throw it away. Forgive and forget others and forgive others. So this is how we're gonna move. If you have a if you're holding these resentment thoughts, then you're not moving in right direction. If you are not holding, then you're moving in right direction. You're moving forward. And that's the reason repentance and forgiveness is the only available method to correct the mistake. So same Quran says, Innal hasanatu yuzhibna sayyiat. So that's the only way we can do that. And it's not God is gonna forgive us. Believe me. Think carefully, deeply. It's not God is gonna forgive you. It's gonna be you who's gonna forgive yourself. You will understand the more you do that. You will understand. We are thinking, oh my God, I did a wrong thing, and I don't know if God is gonna forgive me or not. No. What are you waiting for? You have to forgive yourself. So you have to forget it. Move on. You can't move if you keep those baggage with you. So the only way is when you overcome with good deeds from the bad deeds. Then you move forward. So now, this is actually the forgiveness they say in the literature. The law of forgiveness is the only law which liberates human. Obviously, it is liberty. The moment you get rid of that thought, you feel so light, and you feel light. You're moving forward. So so basically is forgive yourself and forgive others, and that is the basic law. So you can repeat this statement or whatever you want to, the way you want to say. Do it daily. When you do it daily or multiple times, that I forgive myself and everyone else that occupy a bad place in my mind. I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm wealthy person with full of love, and lot of good energy flows through me. So if you see what you're doing is you basically reprogram. When you repeat these things again and again, you reprogramming yourself. You are telling your subconscious whatever you want to think. Keep all those guilty feelings in your uh, basement room. I am healthy, wealthy, loving, and lot of energy I have. You keep believing that. Believe me, once you keep believing that, you eventually become that. That's what I said. How you think, how you feel, and how you act. So once you keep repeating the same thing, you change your conscious. If you keep reading one book, you can change your conscious. Believe me. uh, I was thinking about it because the more I read the Pervez Saab's books, the more I think that way. There's no other. I think that's how basically it, and we have to understand it that this is how it works. So how you think, how you feel, how you act, that's what you are basically. If you're feeling that, if you're thinking that I'm poor, I don't have money, I don't have job, I don't have car, how can I do this? I can't do this. You're gonna be in that same vicious circle because you are directing, you're commanding your body that you're poor. Then that's why poor stays poor and rich stays rich. The reason why they never think we are poor. Poor or richness is not, as I said, you do not uh, check your richness through your bank balance. Your richness is here. The more higher faculties you develop, the more rich you are. You can create anything. You can make millions if you want, but you need to have a higher faculties to develop. So this is how I think we have to understand each law. I believe I presented 4 laws today, and I will do it in the next session. I think we'll go over like 10 or 11 laws, and there's so many. I mean, it's not like this values are all over the place. I mean, there's law of gravitation, law of this and that. So I think I'll finish here, and ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. And thank you very much for listening.